All right, welcome everybody. My name is Armando Perez-Carreno, and welcome to the Web Talk Show. We are again testing a different stream method. Now we're streaming directly to YouTube via the stream key and to LinkedIn via the stream key as well. Now I wanted to do this via OBS this morning, but my OBS decided it was not going to participate. Crashed. So I have to test removing some of those plugins and see what's going on there. But anyway, I just thought, well, I'll just open Riverside like we've done before and connect directly via RTMP key. Now, this might not make any sense to people who are watching. So I'll explain. Riverside, which is what I'm using now, you probably see the watermark here. It's a tool that allows you to record podcasts or things like that. You can record the whole thing. You can have guests over, and it's really nice because it'll record both parties in high definition or high resolution, depending on how you have it set up. It could be up to 4K. It'll record both parties, and then it could also stream live. It does okay with that, and then you can do all sorts of things, editing and everything, and have it ready for publishing. So it's a good tool, and I've used it for a long time. Now, the problem that I've found with Riverside, particularly for streaming, is that it has some bugs. So when it tries to generate the session itself on LinkedIn or YouTube, sometimes you don't know when it's going to start, and sometimes the connection right before you're going to start a session, the connection just doesn't work. You have to reconnect to the account, and then it recreates a bunch of accounts. So I was just giving up on using Riverside for streaming because of that point, and going back to just using OBS, because with OBS it's just a tool, it's free. You can record locally and it'll record in whatever highest resolution you want. Won't use any bandwidth for that part, and then it'll stream in whatever resolution you want. So if you want to stream at 1080, you can. 720, whatever, it's fine, but you can record 4K, which is really nice. Probably missing piece in OBS is if you have guests over, then it's not as simple. Then you have to use some other service for that. But in this case, I'm just streaming myself. So I thought I'll use OBS and I'll stream from there. There's a thing called ADM multi-stream, and so you can stream to multiple places. So my thought was, okay, so I'll set that up. I will stream to YouTube and to LinkedIn at the same time. They're the ones I stream the most to. And then I'll grab the recording and multi-purpose it to the other platforms, which is good. But again, it decided not to be friendly this morning. So I did the same thing, but, and here's a tip, on YouTube and LinkedIn. So via Riverside. So what I did was Riverside has this option to use custom RTMP, which means you can give it a stream key and a URL and stream to that directly, which is nice. How it also has the regular way where it just connects to your YouTube channel and creates the event at that moment. Now, here's the plus and minuses, pros and cons. So when you create an event on YouTube yourself, let's say you schedule an event like this morning, I schedule it for 10:20 a.m. What happens is you can actually set up a thumbnail, description, everything. You have everything already going, connected in the right playlist, etc. And then it'll give you a stream key and URL that you can use to stream. LinkedIn does the same. You can create an event at a certain time. It'll give you the stream key and all that good stuff. Why is that important? Because, well, first of all, everything starts at sort of the same time, but also it allows you to do the preview that you would do if you're doing manual streaming. So when you do it in Riverside regularly, it just suddenly starts. You don't know exactly when it started in which platform. You cannot check if it's coming up properly, etc. Whereas if you do it this way, again, quick tip, if you're using Riverside or any other tool, the great thing is you can connect it to these events. So I created the event in YouTube, I created the event on LinkedIn, and then started the stream on Riverside. So basically the recording starts here and starts streaming, but that doesn't mean the event goes live. It just means it's streaming to these platforms. So then I can go in slowly, go on YouTube, check the YouTube studio, make sure that the signal is coming through properly. I can check that the sound is coming through properly, and then I can do the same on LinkedIn, which I did, and see that the sound is coming through properly as well. So it's really nice because you're able to do all those checks beforehand instead of being during the show asking people, is it working? Is it not working? Can you hear me? Maybe you speak for 30 minutes and nobody hears you, which has happened because of an audio glitch or something in your interface. So This is just an approach that I think can help a lot of people. You just do it this way. Now, there's another cool thing that I realized, and I'll get to the topic at hand in a moment. YouTube has this thing called dual stream, which I did not know about. So once you're streaming to YouTube, which I'm doing over here on this screen, in the settings for this live event, there's a checkbox that says dual streaming, and it will crop your video to a 916 like portrait view for the phone, right? What does that mean and why is that important? What's really nice, because I'm just streaming once to YouTube, and let me see if I can show you, but I'm just streaming once to YouTube. But what's happening is that YouTube is streaming in horizontal and also in vertical. And that's super important because if you go to the shorts tab, let me see if this comes up here. I don't know if we're going to be able to see it, but you will appear in the shorts tab. So if people are watching shorts and your video was going to be surfaced to them anyway because of whatever the algorithm is doing, you are now able to appear in that shorts feed as well while you're live, which is really cool. And again, I'm just doing one stream to YouTube. So I think that's something nice. I don't know if you're watching it vertically. Let me know so we see if it's looking good. But I see a preview here, and I just made sure I'm right and like where the crop area is, and it looks good. It's the same as when I crop it afterwards in Riverside or Opus Clip or whatever other tool we're using. So anyway, welcome everyone, and now we're gonna do the intro again, just so that we actually start on the subject, and I can clip this over and have it for the podcast for whoever's gonna watch the podcast after the fact, because the podcast is on Spotify. If you haven't heard it, it's called the Web Talk Show. You can find it on Spotify, iTunes, and all other platforms where you might want to listen to podcasts. All right, so let's get it started, and we get to the topic at hand, which is about AI workflows, specifically in this case, the AI receptionist deep dive. So let's get started. And hello, everyone. My name is Armando Perez-Carreno, and welcome to the Web Talk Show. Today, we're talking about the AI Receptionist Deep Dive. So basically, we're going to talk about going beyond just answering calls and what this means for a lot of businesses. I was asked today by someone, there's no way, they said, that an AI can answer my calls because they wouldn't know what to say. And sure, there's some ignorance in that concept, but it's a very common thought because you think, oh, how is that thing going to know what to say? And while it's true, if you just turn on the phone and ask an AI to answer well, it more than likely won't say what you want it to say. Unless you are in a very well-known industry, then of course the AIs are actually pretty smart in that sense, and they will very likely be able to give very accurate information just in general about the type of service in your industry and things like that. But you probably wanted to say things that are related to your specific business, and you want a flow that's specific to what you offer to your customers and the tone of voice, etc. So that's what I want to unpack today, what an AI receptionist actually sounds like, what it can know, what it can say, what it can do. It's not an IVR. It's very different from having a phone system that says, press 1 for sales, press 2 for support, press 3 for Spanish. This is very different because it's just talking like a regular person. It listens and it talks back, and you can interrupt it, and you can ask different questions, and you can mispronounce things and it'll understand, and you can give it numbers and it'll understand, and it can ask you to clarify if it has questions. It doesn't have pre-programmed steps necessarily. It can have a free-flowing conversation. It can even go outside the conversation and then bring you back in depending on the instructions that you give it. We were doing a test with this the other day with our agent, and you can actually call it 210-987-4321. It's 210-987-4321. That is our version, and you can talk to it, and it'll tell you about our services and workflow, and it'll sort of guide you based on your pain points in the business and things like that. It sort of asks specific questions that can sort of guide you towards what you need to learn and what you need to know. And then it can also book appointments, which we'll get to shortly. But It's really cool because we were testing how far off it would go because we gave it certain instructions. And so one of the kids asked it, "How do you make a gingerbread cookie?" And so the agent laughed and said, "Oh, gingerbread cookies, I love them. You make me hungry. Well, you need this. But let's get back to talking about AI workflows." So it'll sort of bring the conversation back. And we might have time to actually demo it on the stream today just so you see how it sounds. But you can be very clever in what you do. You can give it a personality. You can make it be thoughtful. You can make it be calm. You can be energetic. And it's just like talking to a regular person. And I think a demo will make a lot of sense. But it's a lot of fun. And so going back to what it can or can't say, it is very important that you give it the right prompt so that it knows what you want it to say. You can tell it everything about your business. And this is what you should do. You should have a document. If you're working with someone like us, we want to build something like this, you want to have a document that has all your services, all your products, all your prices if you do pricing directly, even ways to calculate pricing. You can give it access to your calculator. It can know about your past history. It can know about your structure, your processes, your standard operating procedures. You can feed it a lot of information, and then it can also call systems. So if you have a CRM, you wanted to be able to pull information about a customer to give them information about where they are in the process, where they stand in the queue, when their car, motorcycle, truck is going to be ready, whatever you want, it can know because you can give it access to different systems. And it could be contained access. You can give it read-only access. You can actually have it write to different systems if you want to. So it could be very powerful depending on the industry you are. You might want more or less. And the amazing thing is how human like it sounds. And it's not trying to replace a human, it's just helping you take some of the load off your front office staff. So if you have a receptionist and they're on the phone all day and they're doing, please hold, please hold, please hold, and they just can't keep up with all these calls, then you're losing customers. And then the customers that you do have are getting frustrated and they might just hang up, especially if they're in a hurry. So something like this allows your front end staff to focus on the most important tasks. So maybe they have to do a quote, an estimate. Maybe they have to talk with someone that has an issue that's very nuanced, that just needs more human interaction, and that's perfect. But then all the other 12 calls that you're getting at the same time for booking appointments, for asking about your times, just typical frequently asked questions, the agent can take care of. And it can go even further and actually consult the system, give them their information, book appointments, and all that good stuff. So are they good? Yes, I think they're very useful, especially if you have this pain point. If you don't run a business and you don't have this pain point, it might just go over your head and you're like, no, this makes no sense. I want to talk to a human. And I've heard that too. I personally don't necessarily want to talk to a human. I do when it's something that I need a human to do, but many times I found that we think we need a human to solve something, but that's only because we have the preconceived notion that a system cannot do it because we've had prior experience of a system failing at doing that. And that's why we have that misconception. If you give it to a kid, you'll see they don't have that misconception. They'll just ask it anything. They don't care. They'll just ask because they don't have an opposing history that will tell them, no, it's not possible that that thing will help you. They'll just go ahead and ask. And I think we all need to step back and have that same curiosity that kids have. Because while we might stop ourselves and we might actually start talking to it like, please help me with sales, because you've had prior experience with a system that doesn't understand you and you have to enunciate. Here, no, just talk to it like a regular human. Even talk to it in your own language. If you have a different language, it might support different languages. And that's what's really neat about it. We can make these agents where they're multilingual and can understand English and Spanish and French and German. And it can do what you want. And if you've ever had a conversation with ChatGPT's voice thing, if you have the paid version, it works sort of like that, but it's just on the phone. It's very useful. So talking about that issue for the misconception that I heard this morning about how is it going to know what to say? Well, we're going to tell it what to say. So we're going to ask you a lot of questions about how you run your business, what types of services you offer, at what times of the day do you work, how long does your job typically take. Let's say you're an electrician, a plumber, etc. Well, you have all sorts of jobs. So maybe you have a service for unclogging the toilet or the drain, or flushing out the water heater, or fixing the AC, or doing maintenance on the AC, or doing a summer maintenance, or doing a winter maintenance. Or if you're in the car industry, well, maybe changing the filter, maybe the air filter, the oil filter, the fuel filter. You have to add air to tires, rotate the tires, do alignment, anything like that. Or if you're an electrician, maybe checking the panel, maybe switching some breakers out, checking the breakers, checking continuity in some of the lines. There's all sorts of services that each business has. And if while the AI itself, if you have using a big model, will know a lot of these general concepts, it's better to feed it information that's relevant to your specific business. And that way, when people call it, they're basically talking to you. They'll get the same type of response that they would get from you. And the cool part of it is you create a first version, and then you just iterate on it. You get it to become better and better and better as you talk to it and learn, oh, maybe it shouldn't say this, or maybe it was a little too harsh on this one, or maybe it was a little too soft on this one, or maybe it's going too far off the conversation path. Let's add some rules to get it back. So it becomes a very helpful tool, again, for your front office staff to be able to offload a lot of these calls that might just be distracting them from getting new customers, from helping existing customers out, etc. Now, quick thing here, if you are on LinkedIn, I don't know why LinkedIn keeps sort of refreshing the screen here and showing me a shorter duration. So sorry about that if that is actually happening. I'm not sure if it's happening or if it's just how it's displaying, but I think on YouTube we're live and everything. And if you're listening to this in the podcast, don't worry about what I just said. It's just for the sake of anyone who's listening live. So I think we'll do a little demo. Let me see if we can call ours and see what it'll say. And I don't know how it's going to come through in the microphone, but let's check. Let's do a call to this number, 210-987-4321. So let's do that. And let's do speaker. Let me know if you hear it, because again.
Hi there. Thank you for calling Perez-Carreno and Cuandro. This is Jessica. What brings you here today?
Hello, Jessica. Well, I own a small bakery, and I don't know, I saw one of your ads or videos or something, and it looked fun, so I wanted to learn a little bit more.
Oh, that's great to hear. A bakery sounds like such a fun business. What caught your attention about our ad or video? What are you hoping to learn more about?
Well, it's something about the AI receptionist. They sound fun. So how does that work? Can I get an AI receptionist?
Absolutely. Our AI receptionist is like having a super helpful assistant that never takes a break. It can answer customer calls, schedule appointments, and even take messages, all without you having to lift a finger. It's designed to handle those repetitive tasks that can eat up your time, especially during busy hours at your bakery. So instead of missing calls or juggling everything yourself, the AI can take care of customer interactions 24/7. Does that sound like something that could help you out? What kind of tasks do you find yourself juggling the most?
Well, I calls there's just so many calls coming in, and we're trying to help someone, but there's five, six other calls coming in for orders, and we just can't take it. So they have to go to voicemail, and then some of those when we call back, like they've already gone to someone else, or they just don't leave the voicemail.
That sounds really frustrating. Missing those calls can definitely mean losing out on orders, and I can see how that would be overwhelming, especially with so many customers trying to reach you. The AI receptionist could really help with that. It can answer every call. Even when you're busy with customers in the bakery, it can take orders, answer common questions, and ensure that no call goes to the voicemail. This way, you can focus on serving your customers without worrying about missing out on new orders.
Now,
What would it mean for
Jessica,
your
sorry to interrupt, but I heard somewhere that you have some sort of demos. Do you have any demos that I can talk to, like just to test one of these agents?
Yes, we do. You can actually interact with one of our live demo agents to see how it works in real time. You can ask questions and experience how the AI handles customer interactions. We have a couple of options. Joe's Auto and Tire, which is great for service inquiries, or Dolly's Pet Spa, which focuses on appointment scheduling.
Oh, let's do
Did you want a
Joe's
basic?
the auto shop. I'm just curious to see how that would work.
Great choice. Let me transfer you over now so you can experience it firsthand. Just a moment.
Joe's Auto and Tire. Sam here. How can I help you today?
Hello, Sam. I think I need an oil change.
Thanks for calling Joe's Auto and Tire. I can definitely help you with that. What kind of vehicle do you have?
It's an Accord. I don't remember the brand, but it's an Accord, I think. Yeah, something like that.
Nope. No problem. Just to clarify, is it a Honda Accord?
Oh
And
yeah,
can
yeah,
you
yeah.
tell me the
It's
year?
a Honda Accord, and it's a 2024.
Got it. A 2024 Honda Accord. Are you looking for a conventional oil change or a synthetic oil change?
I
If you're not sure, I can help.
Yeah. What I don't know. What's the difference?
Good question. A conventional oil change uses standard oil, which is typically changed every 3,000 to 5,000 miles. A
Oh,
synthetic
okay.
oil
Yeah.
change
So
uses a
let's
higher quality oil that lasts
yeah
longer.
let's go with the conventional. I don't want to spend too much.
Sounds good. We'll go with the conventional oil change. When were you hoping to bring your Honda Accord in?
Do you have any availability tomorrow?
I have a few openings tomorrow, December 31st. We can get you in at 9 a.m., 10 a.m., or 11 a.m. Which time works best for you?
Sorry. Could you send me back to Jessica, please? So as you can see
Hi
here.
there. Thank you for
Oh,
calling
oh, that was
Perez-Carreno
fast.
and Quandro. This is Jessica. What brings you here today?
Hey Jessica, can I hear the other demo? I think you have a pet spa demo. So as you can see, you can have multiple different
Sure.
voices
Let me
attached
transfer you to the demo for Dolly's Pet Spa.
to your
Just one moment.
agents. In this case, we have three
Thank you for
agents.
calling Dolly's Pet Spa. This is Riley. How can I help you and your furry friend today?
Hello, Riley. We have a big dog.
Thank you for calling. I appreciate you reaching out. However, we specialize in grooming small pets under 40 pounds. For
Oh,
larger dogs, I'd recommend a full service grooming salon that can provide the care they need. Would you
oh,
like me to
okay.
suggest a
Now
couple
I
of great
also have
options
a
for you?
smaller puppy. It's a Pomeranian. Can you help with that one?
Absolutely. We would love to help with your Pomeranian. What's your puppy's name? And what kind of grooming services are you looking for?
Her name is Jewel, and I think she needs a bath.
Jewel sounds adorable. We offer a couple of bath options for her. We have a basic bath for $35 to $45, which includes.
So as you can see, it's the sky's the limit in what how you can set these up. This is just some demos that we have, and it allows people to interact with the similar experience to what they currently have through their business, right? So you might might not have all different industries. We have a few, and we keep adding more so that people can call in and be like, okay, so this sounds similar to the type of service that I'm doing. So if you do an electrician one, for example, then it'll work for a plumber as well, and many other trades that are similar. If you have an auto shop, then it'll work for something similar to like auto detailing, or maybe a truck shop or a diesel shop, or even mobile uh, service provider and things like that. So, what I really like is that you can tailor it to the type of business that you have, but also to the type of customer that you have. So, it could have the type of attitude or personality based on what your customer expects from your business. And so we talked about all the data that it can have, all the knowledge that it can have from your company so that it can talk about the actual services and provide a good experience and answer all the questions. You can take a little further and have it book, talk to your calendar, check available slots, actually book people into available slots. And I'll show a demo of that another time where I actually show the screen of it doing the appointment setting. But then also, apart from the technical functionalities that it could do, you can have it talk in a way that resonates with your potential customer base. And I think that's really neat. Like you saw here, we had three agents on the line. One, our sort of main agent, and then another very different one, a man instead of a woman, for the car shop. And then we had another person who's maybe younger and more I don't know, a softer type of personality for the pet grooming spa. So you can do all sorts of voices. You can do different tools for transcription. You can connect it to all sorts of tools as well. And I just think personally, as a business owner, that having something like this is super useful, even for solo practitioners, bigger businesses, nail salons, obviously, all that sort of like service based, appointment based businesses. It's great. People can be calling while they're driving on speakerphone, of course. They can just call in, get a reservation or whatever. They don't have to be looking at their phone, which is dangerous a lot of times. And I've wanted something like this since a long time ago, a way when I started the business at the very beginning, a way to be able to receive calls and actually provide value to people, even if they're not necessarily booking something, just be able to answer some questions that they have. And before it was just impossible, or it was just completely out of the budget. It was just not something a small business could do. And nowadays, with these tools, with how AI came into the picture, it is very affordable to do something like this, and it will provide a very nice experience for your clients, of course, but then also for your staff, because it allows you to offload a lot of the current workload that they have. And the best part of it is you can always have it transferred to someone else. So they're not stuck in the AI world, which is what we all fear when we call into a system, and it's like you're just stuck there and they don't like to talk to humans. So no, no, no. I really dislike that. I'm not for gatekeeping people. I'm more for allowing the customer to get access to their results the fastest. Now, if they need human support, it should transfer them immediately. So in my case, when we program these, most of them, my clients have asked, can we have them just hand off directly? No questions asked, right? And that's what we do. We set it up in a way where if they're having any trouble, then the AI can say, let me just transfer you over to a person. And then at that point, it transfers over to a regular person, and you can have different queues, and it could go to specific people. It could escalate. It could even go directly to the business owner if it's a big issue or something like that. So you can have all these routing rules so that people are not stuck in the AI, but then can actually get their results fast if possible, and if not, it could just be escalated via a handoff, but not trying to keep them over here just because, right? So that's not the point. The point is, again, to provide results for the person. I hope this has helped some of you know a little more, learn a little more about what an AI receptionist can do and how it can really help you get more appointments booked, get more people to show up, take care of all customer inquiries, and take off some of the work for your front end staff so that they can focus on more important tasks within the business. So I hope you liked this video. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. You can follow us on LinkedIn, on YouTube. You can ring the bell there on YouTube as well. And then this will be in the Web Talk Show podcast, which you can find on Spotify, iTunes, and all other places where you can find your podcasts. Thank you for joining us, and I'll see you in the next one.